Okay, everybody, here we go. It's me, Gregory Mannarino, Sunday, August 25th, 2024. Markets, a look ahead, people. It's just an incredible thing. You probably already know what's going on here. It's everywhere. Every news media, propaganda ministry outlet is covering this. So here we go. Hezbollah launches missile barrage at Israel. Israel launches strikes in Lebanon. Israel targets Hezbollah. I mean, it's everywhere. It's every freaking where. Now, it's kind of interesting how this played out. Let's start off again with this whole thing here before we move to the new lockdowns. Wait till you hear about that. You probably know anyway. But, so for weeks, this event has been broadcast really to the markets. Do you believe, yet again, here we go, that it's just a coincidence that, this event here just happens to fall on a weekend after market hours? People, 9 out of 10 times. It's astonishing because we know how they work. They pull these things off, again, off market hours. And then again, this situation has been broadcast as to not allow world markets to overreact. This is a game. Pawns being moved around on a very expansive chessboard by the real power brokers. It ain't presidents, kings, queens, monarchs, or dictators. People, wake the freak up. All right. So anyway, I don't think this is a surprise, again, as we've all been aware that this was going to happen. It's astonishing, again. I do not believe in coincidence here. Just, again, you look at these kind of things. Generally, they fall on weekends or after market hours. It allows the markets of the world, again, to not overreact. Anyway, look, that's number one. Number two. New lockdowns in effect. Let's just read this real quick. Oxford, Massachusetts. Health officials in one of 4 Massachusetts towns have approved a town-wide curfew to stop the spread of Eastern equine encephalitis. Despite pushback from many, health officials approved this curfew of 6 p.m. Through early morning hours here. Anyway, this is going to change to a 5 p.m. curfew beginning October 1. Now, listen, what's really happening here? They always do the same thing. Okay, it's a test bed. They start off with one town. Of course, the mosquitoes here that spread this disease, they know where the borders are. You know that they do. The mosquitoes are really smart these days. So they know where the borders are, and that's why this one town is a test bed. If you don't know or see what's happening, then I guess you're completely lost. Most people are. Most people think this is real. Obviously, it's not real. Anyway, so what's going to end up happening here is they want to see how people are going to respond to these new lockdowns before they start to implement this wider. Now, you and I have been speaking about this for a very long time. I don't think this is the one that they're going to use. Maybe it is. Encephalitis is pretty scary, an infection of the brain. Okay. People may run off to their doctor and get the new bioweapon that they have ready for you. It's already been pumped into millions of people. Anyway, look, so I personally think it's going to be something more physical that you can see, a mark on the body, welts, something along those lines, but who knows? All I can tell you is this one town is being utilized or weaponized as a test bed. They want to see if people comply. What did I write here? I wrote test bed. I'm just reading my own handwriting here. To see who will comply. It's always the same story. And again, it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. Now, look, we all understand that a scapegoat must be created to shift the blame, which is already, you see what's already going on with the presidential selectees here. Blame, finger pointing, nothing to do with the Federal Reserve. You can't understand that. You can't be allowed to know that it's the Federal Reserve responsible for monetary policy and inflation here, the cratering of the economy here, the lies, the distractions, the deceptions. We're going to talk more about that. But again, are they going to weaponize the system with, let's see, a new disease process, which they've already started to test? Or is it going to be war? More war, or a combination of both, or something else, people? It's astonishing, really it is. Anyway, with regard to that, I want to hear from you. Are you surprised, shocked at all that, again, I'm laughing, I can't stop myself, they do these things off market hours? I'm talking about war, expanding war. Is it even a war? Is it some kind of a kinetic event? I don't know. However they're going to phrase it and sell it to you, they're going to package this up very nicely and tell you why that we need to fund this even more so than we have already. You understand? It's all a mechanism to pull cash into the now. War. No other endeavor on this planet generates the need for more borrowed dollars. And who's willing to lend? Central banks. Then war, the build up to war, expansion of a war. And then of course you got this. If you do not recall, during the last scam, COVID, $3.6 trillion had to be pulled into the now to fight this COVID. Yeah, imagine our shock here. Again, we haven't seen the end here. If you think this is it, you have no idea what's going on. But it gets even worse than that, people. If you subscribe to my free newsletter, this is in your inbox. This is gold. I'm going to tell you again, it's gold. I'm going to urge you to read through. I want to cover this with you right now because there's a lot of things that I leave out because I got to, keep this down to like 2 pages. That's all this is. This will show up in the Trends Journal, probably some other publications as well, but you're going to get it first. It's in your inbox again if you do subscribe to my newsletter. It's really free in the description of this video. So what did I write here? War, disease, need for a scapegoat. Look what I write. I write these little notes to myself because it's just so obvious. Anyway, look, I'm going to cover this with you. Bear with me. There's a lot to go over here. So you are being scammed and robbed blind. You want to talk about scams? Here's a scam for you. Here's a scam for you. Just a mechanism to pull more cash into the now. When all else fails, they bring you to war. It's actually way, way, way bigger than that. War is used as a mechanism to pull cash into the now. The system is perverted. The system demands that any manner of whatever you can dream about, think about, or even have a nightmare over, be utilized to continue to foster the debt-based system, which is a curse upon mankind. I think you will get it here. So, new lockdowns. They want to see what's going to happen in war. Anyway, with regard to that, people, believe it or not, yes, you are being scammed and robbed blind on an unimaginable scale, and it's about to get much worse. Just pay attention here. Let's start off with this. Today, you already know most of this, but just pay attention. More than any other time in human history, nothing is what it appears to be. Lies, distractions, and every other conceivable manner of deceptive tactic, like expanding war, new disease process, lockdowns, and a lot more, is being weaponized and applied to keep an unknowing public in complete darkness as to what is really happening to them. Sound about right so far? The system, their system, not our system, their system has been twisted into an in-our-face nightmare state for the middle class, a psyop. an extreme counterintelligence, sabotage, deconstruction, propaganda scheme on an unprecedented scale. Sound about right so far as well? Take a deep breath. A key component to their system, again, this is not our system, of which we are all forced to participate, legally removes wealth, ownership, liberty, and freedoms from the masses and pushes it right up to the elite class. Are we still on the same page? Does that sound a bit harsh, what I've covered? That's what I wrote here. It's time to wake up as a new phase is about to begin. People, despite the current propaganda campaign against us, and this is all part of it, this war, expanding war, death, suffering, pain, lockdowns. Okay. Despite the current propaganda campaign against us, the fact is this. The world economy is contracting at its fastest pace on record. But we're booming. We're the envy of the world. This is not just a phenomenon here in the United States. People wake the freak up. It's a worldwide phenomenon. While at the same time, central banks are ballooning not only world debt, but also the currency or monetary base. This mechanism is deliberate. You know it is. It's not by coincidence. No comedy of errors got it here. Moreover, it is designed to increase demand for more central bank issued notes. It's a vicious cycle. As the currency loses purchasing power, it is devalued. More currency must be created. And that's the goal here of central banks, to inflate. They have but one mission here, people. Central banks, to own it all, to be the rulers of this world. It's not the Trumps, the Bidens, the Kamalas, or any other president or dictator around the world. Again, central banks have set up their bases in every continent around the world. They're all playing the same game, and we lose. We can't win. Okay, you think that some figurehead put behind the Resolute desk is really going to change your life? How did it work out during the last three presidents? The last three presidents here in the United States alone have vaulted the Federal Reserve to the pinnacle of power. You think that's going to change anytime soon? You've been dumbed down sufficiently enough where they can control your mind. You realize that? More currency must be created as the currency is devalued, as it now takes more central bank issued notes to buy everything and everything. Sound about right to you? Yeah, it is right. Obviously, this process is massively inflationary, but you're not supposed to know that. You have to believe the Fed is in the fight of their lives to control inflation. But it gets worse. Just this past week, the Federal Reserve announced that it's about to cut rates beginning in September, effectively instituting a quantitative easing monetary policy. Quantitative easing is emergency monetary policy. And now the demand for more cash to be pulled into the now to fight any disease process they're going to throw at you, new lockdowns, and more war is going to become even more prevalent. You understand? Do you really know what's happening? I hope you do. People, emergency monetary policy. We're doing so well around the world right now. Our economies here and around the world is so strong that central banks around the world have now begun quantitative easing, which is emergency monetary policy. You don't believe me? Look it up for yourself. Okay. It was this same monetary policy, QE, which is implemented during the stock market crash of 2008. QE greatly inflates the debt. QE introduces vast amounts of new money into the system. Are we on the same page? And this new money is then used by the issuing central bank, in this case the Federal Reserve, which is neither federal and has no reserves, to buy back or monetize the debt. Are you seeing what's happening here? This new money pumped into the system further distorts asset prices. It artificially inflates the price action of risk assets or the stock market, which is really what it's meant to do as a deception. Inflate the stock market and people believe everything is fine. You understand? That's the tactic that was used during the last three presidents. None more so than Donald Trump, obviously. And I'm only pointing it out because he was the one there every day How did the stock market do? How did the stock market do? He wanted you to focus on the stock market because our economy was dead. Dead then, it's dead now. It was the illusion of some kind of prosperity that was propped up on the back of what he helped the Fed pull into the now, $8.9 trillion. Obama, about half that or so, and then you got this current thing sitting behind the resolute. It's a game, and we lose. Unbelievable. Artificially suppressed rates opens up a doorway for cash to make its way into the stock market. Nobody knows that better than you. We've covered it here at length. Artificially suppressed rates also inflates the price of real estate. New money, which is in reality not money, people, duh. But currency introduced into the system is an economic destroyer. You're going to be sold every manner of lie by the current two freaks running for office right now. They're not running for anything. This is selection here. How you need lower rates. We promise you lower rates. Trump himself, out of his own mouth, has said we need a weaker dollar. And his frankly dumbed down, imbecile audience cheers for it. Make it up. You can't make it up. Easy money is inflationary, and its currency purchasing power negative. Suppressed rates allow corporations to borrow cash for next to nothing, who then go on to sell their own corporate bonds and debt at a higher rate, and therefore profit from lower rates. I'm oversimplifying here, okay? But that's basically how it works. Suppressed rates fulfill a corporate agenda and destroy small businesses. It is no surprise, and it should not be to you, why today gone are the mom and pop shops of yesterday. Small businesses cannot survive. Small businesses were the backbone of not just the economy of the United States, but of the world. They've been erased in favor of the corporate agenda. Are you starting to wake up? Since 2008, when the Fed began quantitative easing, savers have been robbed blind of trillions of dollars in realized gains. Moreover, now that the Fed is about to enter upon a rate-cutting scheme as to further destroy the middle class in favor of fulfilling the corporate agenda, savers are about to be robbed even more. Are you listening to this? New money creation has an expansive and disproportionate effect upon different classes of people. The effect of new money pumped into the system benefits some, very few, at the expense of the masses. This is called the cantelon effect. The cantelon effect, as new money is pumped into the system by central banks, certain groups, the major banks especially, Wall Street, corporations, the elite class, get access to the new money first. Having access to the new money first allows these groups to gain an arbitrage opportunity. They are able to spend this new money before prices increase across society via inflation. As new money is introduced into the system, it takes time. I've covered this a million times for the new currency to trickle down or make its way through the economy to the regular guy and the regular gal. You, more than likely. The amount of time that it takes for new money that is pumped into the system here to trickle down through an economy depends on the economic conditions. People, there is a lag effect here. We've had a dead economy since the meltdown of 2008. All this cash that was pulled into existence via the last three presidents working with the Federal Reserve, it has taken time to work its way through the economy. Now, I go on to say, the amount of time that it takes new money to trickle down depends on economic conditions. For example, in a slow or contracting economy, the time it takes to trickle down can take years. And that's exactly what we're seeing now, as I have outlined for you what happened from years ago. And by the time that this new money trickles down to the regular guy and regular girl, it has lost a vast amount of purchasing power. Duh! This is a no-brainer, people. This is economics 101. You understand? This is what you're hearing. Again, you're not taught this stuff. You're not supposed to know this stuff. You're supposed to be lied to, deceived, on an unimaginable scale. Anyway, in conclusion here, central banks are unleashing the floodgates via the mechanism artificially suppressed rates and currency devaluation. The economy will suffer. However, The illusion of a higher stock market will fool the masses into believing that the economy remains strong. This tactic has been used by the last three presidents like we've never seen before in the history of the world. It's out of control. Anyway, people, as I have said, this is in your inbox right now. I urge you to make a copy of this. Please share it. Get it out there. I really don't know, and maybe all of you can enlighten me out here. Where are you going to find information like this? I really need to know that. I need to know. Because I don't think you're going to find it anywhere. I really don't. And going back to this, the market has been prepared for weeks. They've been broadcasting this via the mainstream media propaganda that it's going to happen, it's going to happen. This has allowed the market to price it in. Does that mean we're going to get a sell the news moment tomorrow? We'll see. I'm not even sure. I can tell you that energy prices obviously are going to, this is a no-brainer too, obviously benefit from all this, which is really what it's all about. Crude oil, the lifeblood of the system, the lifeblood of the military-industrial complex here. You are being scammed across the board. Wars, lockdowns, the action of central bank, lies, distractions, deceptions by things that have no power, that are placed behind the resolute desk to convince you that a system exists that no longer does. You understand what I'm saying here, people? I really hope I'm getting through to you. I really, really do. Anyway, look, I'm going to let you all go because I want you to ponder these things. And more important, look, none of this surprises you. None of it. Nor should it surprise you that this event just happened to coincidentally fall on a weekend, off-market hours. That's what they do. Do you realize the game that is being played on you? It's not real. All of this it's planned out. It's scheduled. It's literally put on a schedule. Hold your fire until a weekend. Hold your fire until the markets close. Understand? Do you think any of this is real? You're not living in any kind of reality. As I started this thing off, today, more than any other time in human history, nothing is what it appears to be. But there are some of you that believe it is. And they got you by the throat and by the testicles. I can't say, but you know what I'm talking about. But not you. You follow this blog? Nobody is more clear on this than you. And what does it mean? It means, people, that we're in the right spots. Not just financially and taking advantage of the markets and commodities and, yes, cryptocurrencies, people, but we need each other more than ever. Do you think they want us alive? They want us dead. The grand scheme here is to vastly population planet Earth. You understand? Control. It's about control. It's about lockdowns. It's about fear. It's about compliance. And this little test bed here, let's see what happens with all that. Because they're going to watch and see how the public responds to it. If they can get it away with it, you can expect another scamdemic on a massive scale. Fear, confusion. That's what it's all about. When you get hip to that, is the day you're going to finally wake up. Until that time, you're going to have no idea what's going on. You're going to actually believe that someone like Trump or Kamala can possibly make a difference. Oh! Anyway. You need to take control of your own life. We have to decide for ourselves what we want. But we're on the losing end here. You understand that? We are on the losing end. But again, in my opinion, every revolution starts out small. And I believe with all I got in my heart, we started something here, you and me. Started a while back, okay? This thing that we have is the beginning of a real revolution. What are the solutions to the problem? You know what they are already. I've told you this. The polar opposite of what we are being sold here, what central banks is going to do now, suppressing rates, buying all the debt. We need higher rates. You want to bring back small businesses? You want to bring back the mom and pop shops of yesterday? You know what I'm talking about? If you're as old as me here. You want to deconstruct the corporate agenda? We need a stronger currency. We need higher rates. But Trump ain't going to tell you that. Kamala's not going to tell you that. They're just going to promise you lower rates because they're both working with the Federal Reserve and other central banks around the world, and their respective leaders are working against you. And they got you locked into thinking that they got your back. That alone should tell you something. All right, people, look, I'm out of here. Love all of you from the heart. I really hope you got something out of this. I want to hear from you. I want to hear from you again. You surprised? Shocked about this? Especially that it's happened on weekends? Are you surprised about new lockdowns here? Are you surprised that the system is a scam on a massive scale? Everything that we've been talking about, people, I don't know how freaking long it's happening. We are so far ahead of the curve, it's frankly almost scary. But it's just because we're smart. It's just because we've raised our awareness as to what's going on around us. Let the rest of the people live in their dumbed down states. They're going to pay for this more than anybody. But you and me, we're ready from every angle. Again, not just financially, but mentally, physically, spiritually. We got each other's backs always. That gives us strength like you can't imagine. People, I'll see you all in the morning. I love you from the heart. I mean that. Take care of yourselves. And let's start to really come together more so. We know what they're doing. We know the tricks, the politics, and everything else that's going on here to us. It's quite a time to be alive. It really, really is. And it should make it clear to you how important it is for us to come together here. This family that we've created, I had no idea where this would eventually go. But the fact is, we've created something big here. And I think it's going to get much bigger. At least I hope so. All right? I'll see you in the morning. Until we meet again, please take care of yourselves and each other.